The Stone Zone, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back. You're back in the Stone Zone, and joining us now is investigative journalist Shan Trejo, formerly of Big League Politics, on the verge of launching his new site, The Populist Bulletin. Shane has assisted me in writing a number of articles regarding the political situation in Honduras, where the Biden Justice Department undermined a duly elected president, falsely accusing him of drug trafficking to clear the way for a Maduro-Castro-type communist government and a dictator in the name of democracy. Shane, welcome to the Stone Zone.
Glad to be back, Roger.
This is one of the oozing sores in this hemisphere, given our hard line regarding Cuba and our hard line regarding Venezuela. Give us a rundown of what's happening in Honduras.
Right now, the Honduran dictator, Xiomara Castro, right now she is standing very firmly with Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro, after the Trump administration announced a $50 million bounty on the head of Maduro. She came out and expressed her solidarity with Maduro, saying that she stands with the people of Venezuela, that she's against the United States and what they're trying to do to free the people of Venezuela, and what they're doing behind the scenes right now is attempting to use election fraud in the November election, similar to what happened in the 2020 election here in the United States, to stay in power regardless of what the will of the people wants. What she's done is they've weaponized their version of the FBI, which is the ATIC, and they have the ATIC working to intimidate and bully the National Electoral Council into doing their bidding. And making matters even worse, the Libre Party, their current Secretary of National Defense, her name is Rixi Moncada. Moncada is running for president under the ticket of the far-left Libre Party, while she is overseeing the elections as Secretary of National Defense. She refuses to step down despite the immense conflict of interest that is happening with her overseeing the elections and being on the ballot. They did a test run of the election fraud that's intending to take place in November during the primary elections in March. The Associated Press said that polling centers were forcibly closed on Election Day because of conveniently lacking electoral materials. Only 10 of the 152 voting centers received the electoral material they needed to conduct the vote on Election Day in the industrial center of San Pedro Sula. And also there were Libre Party officials arriving at polling locations with suitcases full of allegedly illegal ballots that had already been filled out. So that was the test run for the election fraud that stands to take place in November. And the reason why this should matter to America First patriots and Republicans and conservatives in the United States is that, Honduras is a key ally that we need to fight back against the flow of drugs and migrants that are coming up to the U.S. southern border. If a dictator, left-wing dictator in Honduras causes allows drug criminals to run free, that is going to we're going to pay the price because those drugs are going to be coming up to the U.S. southern border. And if they put in full-blown communism and despair and destitution reigns over the Honduran people, a lot of them will not stay there. They will be looking for greener pastures, and they will be coming up through the U.S. southern border. So stable countries in Latin America will mean better and more secure border. What we saw in El Salvador with Bukele becoming president, turning the place around, and now he takes illegals and houses them in his supermax prison on our behalf to help make America safer. So when we have stronger, more conservative, more rule of law leadership in Latin America, it directly helps and impacts the United States and helps us stop, the different problems with drugs and migrants that we have here. So we should be very much in tune with what is going on with the situation in Honduras. Pam Bondi, our Attorney General, certainly is. She recently went on Spanish language TV where she exposed Honduras for allowing an air bridge where Venezuela has free airspace to transport drugs from Honduras to Guatemala and to Mexico, where they transport the drugs and exchange money for bribes and also bring in illegal weapons in the ports of entry. So all this stuff, all the illegal guns that go to the drug dealers and the drugs and the migrants, this is being facilitated because of the Castro administration in Honduras and the Libre Party in Honduras. So it's very important that we understand what's going on and that President Trump and the Trump administration take action to make sure that these elections are fair and that there's no robbery of this election in Honduras, because the ramifications for the United States could be dire if the steal takes place.
Yeah, in a classic case of Alinskyism, that is where you accuse your enemies of doing exactly that which you yourself are doing. They accused former President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who was a staunch supporter of free markets and of President Donald Trump, of engaging in drug trafficking with the acquiescence of the Biden Justice Department in a coup to remove him as president. I have been in touch with his daughter. We've spoken about this very, very aggressively. He was indicted by the Biden administration on drug conspiracy charges based largely on testimony from drug dealers who had no credibility, but who were being used by the government and punishing Hernandez for his strict law and order policies against the narco trade. The Biden deep state has eliminated this strong conservative voice in the region, and that's how they empowered radical socialists in a move that seriously jeopardizes the future of the island.
Absolutely. And, we also often talk about the deep state, and a lot of different alphabet soup agencies come up, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, but also the DEA is also equally corrupt as any of those entities. And they wanted to get Juan Orlando Hernandez, the former president of Honduras, who was a strategic partner of President Trump's. He's actually the guy who signed the extradition treaty that allowed these different, heinous drug dealers to be get extradited from Honduras to the United States. So what does the DEA do under the Biden administration? They work with these drug dealers who were extradited due to Juan Orlando Hernandez's policies, and they get them to flip on JOH and implicate him, the guy who cracked down on drug dealing instead. And, even the feds had to admit that the drug trade waned under his leadership during the trial. But the drug dealers, the murderers, the killers, they were given clemency or leniency for providing, fantastical testimony against Juan Orlando Hernandez that couldn't be corroborated by anything except, what they said in court, knowing if I say this, then I'm going to get freed. So it was all a very corrupt process, and the Biden administration worked to make sure that the Castro regime that's currently in place handed over JOH on day one of her being being instilled into office in Honduras. So extremely unfair process that was done, and the people of Honduras are suffering because of that right now. I know U.S. pardon attorney Ed Martin, he had a great quote where he said, no MAGA left behind. We have to make sure that all the people who were screwed over by the Biden regime and by the deep state, that, justice is served in their cases. So a pardon from President Trump for Juan Orlando Hernandez would be a massive game changer. It would, legitimize the claims of conspiracy that the evidence backs up, but obviously the fake news media doesn't want to touch, because Juan Orlando Hernandez and the National Party there, they want to put in rule of law. They would work with President Trump to make both countries great again, and thus stop the need for migrants coming up across the southern border. They would work together to stop the drug trade rather than working to facilitate it and then also prop up an evil socialist regime in Venezuela through that drug trade, like the Castro regime is doing right now. So the media is unfortunately blacking this out, but we've definitely shined a major light on it at the Stone Zone and Stone Cold Truth Substack. And we've got to keep pushing until this is done, because the people of Honduras, their freedom hangs in the balance, and the United States will also be harmed majorly if this communist regime in Honduras remains in power.
It reminds me very much of a situation currently going on in the Dominican Republic, where, and this is breaking some news here, the former U.S. ambassador, Wally Brewster, who served under Barack Obama, is currently under FBI investigation for being involved in drug trafficking with both U.S. government officials and Dominican officials. I know that as an absolute fact. It's interesting to watch Wally Brewster, the former ambassador, on Instagram. He has a constant flow of vicious invective attacking President Donald Trump, including accusing the president of involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, for which, of course, there is no evidence whatsoever, any wrongdoing of President Trump with Epstein. In fact, as we noted earlier in the show, former Attorney General Bill Barr, no friend or ally of President Donald Trump, a man who was revealed only days ago of having plotted with the radio personality Armstrong Williams to target a number of individuals who were guilty of nothing on January 6th, but also to work extensively directly with Fani Willis, the Georgia prosecutor who brought a conspiracy case regarding the election against President Donald Trump. So the sworn testimony of Barr, that no evidence that he saw during his reign as Attorney General implicated Donald Trump in any wrongdoing with Jeffrey Epstein, only confirms what I wrote in my 2015 book, The Clintons' War on Women, which you can still find online, where I did extensive research into the Epstein case. And I had Epstein's little black book, his telephone book. By the way, not everyone in that book is guilty of illegal activity, sex trafficking, child abuse, but the butler who sold it, a man named Alberto Rodriguez, now deceased, did circle the names of those in the book who he believed were either directly involved in child sex trafficking or were material witnesses. I also had in my 2015 book the full and complete FAA manifests that tell you who flew to Epstein's Orgy Island, title I took from my friend Sean Hannity. And I can tell you there are no Republican political figures having visited the island. If you're just tuning in, this is Roger Stone. You're listening to the Stone Zone. We're talking to investigative journalist Shan Trejo. He is on the cusp of launching his new website, his new news website, the Populist Bulletin. We're very excited about that. Whatever you do, don't go away. We'll be right back with more political news right here in The Zone.
The Stone Zone
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Stone Zone, entertaining and informative
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we're back in the Stone Zone with me, Roger Stone, right here on the Red Apple Audio Networks. We're talking to investigative journalist Shan Trejo. He is formerly of big league politics, but now launching his own new news website, the Populist Bulletin. I'm very excited about this because I think, as Chairman Mao said, let 1,000 flowers bloom. I think the more websites, the more news outlets telling people the American truth, the stronger America will be. Shan Trejo is among the very best investigative reporters with a particular expertise in communism in the Western Hemisphere. He has traveled extensively in this hemisphere, reported very extensively on the situation in Honduras. I do want to switch to domestic politics for our last couple minutes here. Shane, you have seen, as I have, the extraordinary disclosures by Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, where she has now declassified documents that prove absolutely, definitively, and without any question that there was a seditious conspiracy to take down President Donald Trump, that it was born in an Oval Office meeting in 2017, in which President Barack Obama, Vice President Joe Biden, National Security Advisor Susan Rice, FBI Director James Comey, CIA Director John Brennan, and others were present. This is no longer conjecture. It's not the result of investigative reporting. It goes far, far further than the John Durham report. My view is Durham's report was heavily sanitized. Just this past week, Tulsi Gabbard published declassified documents that proved definitively that the intelligence agencies were not confident whatsoever that there had been any online hack of the Democrat National Committee. In fact, there is no evidence of that. The evidence provided by Bill Binney, the former CIA IT expert, points to a download of the purloined material to some kind of portable drive that was most taken out the back door. So my final question to you, Shane, is do you think we will finally see justice in this matter? Do you think that Brennan, Comey, Clapper, Rice, Biden, Rosenstein, Weissman, Strzok, McCabe, this is quite a list of characters. This is a cabal. Do you think these people will see justice?
Absolutely. I think that now that, what Gabbard has released, confirmed everything that we people like us have known really since the beginning of the Russiagate fake scandal. We knew it was a lie. We knew how they were doing it. But now that the government documents have been released that expose exactly the lengths that they went to and how they ignored intelligence analysts who said that the Steele dossier was fake, how that they ignored whistleblowers and covered them up, and just and how Barack Hussein Obama ordered it from the top, how he was actively involved in setting forth this conspiracy against Trump. Now that we know all of this stuff without a shadow of a doubt, there's nothing stopping a lot of these people from getting put in prison for the crimes that they've committed, the treason that they've committed. My only hope is that I hope it's not just a handful of people who are made examples of, people kind of lower down the food chain, or even like a Comey or a Brennan, maybe, one of those people go down or a few of them go down. I think it needs to go to the very top.
All right, I'm afraid we have to leave it there. I want to thank my guest, Shan Trejo. Look for the launch of his new website, The Populist Bulletin. Thanks for joining us today in the Stone Zone. Until tomorrow, God bless you and Godspeed.
Thanks for listening to The Stone Zone with Roger Stone. You can hear The Stone Zone with Roger Stone weeknights at 8 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?